They might not have the most star-studded roster in Omaha, but man, there might not be another team in the College World Series with more fight than this Troy Trojans team. Troy just completed their 12-8 win over Ole Miss in the losers bracket at the College World Series. Troy's fifth win facing elimination dating back to the beginning of the tournament. But if you look back even further than that, this has been the MO of this Troy team. Their playoff lives were in the hands of the committee as a last four team into the field of 64. It took 3 wins in the Sun Belt tournament for Troy to get the proper consideration they needed to get in. And then they lose their first game of their regional, immediately having to face elimination, win 4 straight with their backs against the wall, including 2 wins over Florida in Gainesville. Then they get to Omaha, drop their first game against West Virginia. Even in that game, Troy showed a lot of fight. When West Virginia jumped out in front, Troy just kept on coming. But here they are against Ole Miss, with their backs against the wall once again, down 6-2 early, but from there on out, they outscore Ole Miss 10-2 the rest of the way, score 6 unanswered runs to take an 8-6 lead, and then cruise the rest of the way to their 5th elimination win, more than any team in the entire field of 64. If I'm West Virginia or North Carolina, I do not want to see Troy on this side of the bracket. It seems like they have only gotten better when facing elimination. Just an absolutely gutsy performance from the Trojans today. They battle back against Ole Miss's Hunter Elliott, kind of create some chaos in the 5th inning to pull the game within 1. And then Jimmy Janicki comes through again with his second home run of the tournament, his second big-time game-tying home run. He hit one against West Virginia in the 7th to tie the game on Friday, does it again against Ole Miss. And then Jay Boroff, the hottest hitter in Troy's lineup, comes through with the big 2-run double to put Troy up, give them a lead that they would not give back to Ole Miss. Blake Cavell added a home run of his own. Sean Darnell had a big home run early to get Troy on the board. Also had the big 2-run knock in the 5th inning. He finishes with 4 runs batted in on the day. Probably the biggest performance of them all comes from sophomore right-hander Noah Thigpen. Throws 5 innings in relief, only gives up 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Had not thrown 5 innings in an outing since February 28th. He plays the role of stopper in this one. Pulls down the Ole Miss bats that were hot early. And then Zach Crotchfeld, the left-handed senior, just threw 4 1/3 innings on 60 pitches 2 days prior, comes in, gets the final 3 outs of the game. Just an all-around gutsy performance from the Trojans. Like I said, this is a team I would not want to see right now. They seem to get better with their backs against the wall. Excited to see just how much further this Troy team can ride this wave. On the winner's side of this bracket, North Carolina and West Virginia square off. This was a very intriguing matchup to me because both these programs have somewhat of a similar identity. Both teams pitch very well. Both teams play excellent defense. They're going to challenge you on the base pass. They might not have the big sluggers in the lineup. They might not rely on the long ball like some of these other teams do, but they consistently put the ball in play, and they come up with the big hit when it matters most. And both of these teams have done that more than any other team in the tournament thus far. Both Friday night aces were on the mound. Junior left-hander Maxiell for West Virginia, sophomore right-hander Ryan Lynch for North Carolina. It was a rough inning for Yale in the first as North Carolina puts up 2 to jump out to a lead. For North Carolina, it was a single, a fielder's choice single, hit by pitch, walk, ground out. It just kind of goes to prove the point, North Carolina's approach at the plate. They're just going to put the ball in play, and that's kind of going to be a theme later on in this game. West Virginia does kind of quickly climb back into this one. Armani Guzman, who has come up time and time again for West Virginia, drives in their first run of the game. They push across one more in the 4th to tie it at 2-2. Ryan Lynch does get pulled kind of prematurely, in my opinion. But at the same time, you have that 1-2 punch in North Carolina's bullpen, Walker McDuffie, Caden Glauber, ready to go. And I have no problem with North Carolina going to them in a moment's notice. So McDuffie takes over for Lynch in the 5th inning with 2 outs. Lynch finishes with the 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. For Maxiell, really settles in after that rough first inning, goes 7 total innings. Unfortunately for him, it was that West Virginia defense, which I mentioned has been good all season, comes through with 2 very untimely errors in the 7th inning. Gavin Gallagher comes to the plate for North Carolina, another bat that has just come through in the big moment all year. He drives in 2 with a triple, and then Owen Hall, who has been as clutch as anybody in the entire tournament, follows up with a single to drive in Gallagher, puts North Carolina up 5-2. All 3 of those runs unearned to Yale. He actually ends up finishing with a pretty impressive line considering the first inning he had to pitch through. 2 earned runs, 8 hits, just 1 walk on 7 strikeouts. Walker McDuffie was excellent for North Carolina out of the bullpen, to no surprise. He doesn't allow a single run in 3 2/3 innings. just 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Does try to finish the game in the ninth, but West Virginia threatens with 2 base runners. Caden Glauber is ready to go in the bullpen, had been electric all year. And a pretty interesting note is that North Carolina has not lost a single game in which Caden Glauber has pitched 26 games and make it 27 because he comes in with 1 out, 2 on, tying run at the plate for West Virginia, strikes out the next 2 batters, pumping 97 miles an hour, only needs 9 pitches to do it, so he is fresh and ready to go on Wednesday, potentially in a starter's role. Who knows how North Carolina might stack them up. They'll get 2 full days to get a fresh pitching staff ready for Wednesday. They have a clear lane to get to the final at this point. As for West Virginia, they'll play Troy on Tuesday. The winner of that will go on to play North Carolina. We'll have to beat them twice to get into the final. And before that takes place, Monday, we switch back to the right side of the bracket. Alabama and Texas, our next elimination game, 2 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. And then you get Oklahoma and Georgia on Monday night. Looking forward to it. This World Series has definitely lived up to the hype so far.